to the Nancy Denis Show. My Nancy boys. Please join me for an acknowledgement to country. I'd like to pay my respects to the original custodians of this land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. Sovereignty was never ceded. Without them taking care of these lands since time immemorial, we would not be lucky enough to live, breathe, love, exist and create on these lands. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Always was, always will be, Indigenous lands and waters. And now please join me for a prayer to my ancestors and to your ancestors as well. To my ancestors, thank you for every single day that I am luckily Ancestors, forgive me for my words, but you know that I love you. Thank you for being with me every single day, whispering and joining me on this journey. And to everybody else's ancestors out there, thank you. Without our ancestors, we would not be able to be here. We stand on their shoulders always, and we are grateful and we are thankful. Achoo! All right. Let's take 3 breaths in and out, just so we can bring ourselves into this moment and into our bodies. Okay, let's talk some shit. White supremacy, what even is that?
Stokely Carmichael says, and he's quite right, that integration is a euphemism for white supremacy. The truth is that we have been integrated here since we got here. You know, that is not what the battle is at all. If Negroes in this country arrange from every color under heaven, from yours to mine, to people even blacker than me, that gives away the history and tells us what happened. Or as an old black woman once put it to me, to sum it up, she said, white people don't hate black people. If they did, we'd all be black.
You're 22 years old, but you are old enough to know better. So I will say you're 22. I get it.
Enough. The hotel did have my phone. The hotel did end up having my phone. Enough. The hotel did have my phone. The hotel did end up having my phone. Yes. I could have approached the situation differently, or maybe not yelled at him like that and made him feel, you know, maybe some sort of inferior way, making him feel as if I was like hurting his feelings, because that's not my intention. I consider myself to be super sweet. I don't feel like this one mistake does define me, but I do sincerely from the bottom of my heart apologize that if I made the son feel as if I assaulted him or if I hurt his feelings. End of the day, the dad did end up like slamming me to the ground and pulling my hair and throwing me and dragging me across the ground. So I will say that.
I would look at the fields of psychiatry and psychology in the context of the total system that we are in. And we are in my view, a system, local, national, global, of racism, white supremacy, which people who classify themselves as white, consciously and or subconsciously, organized, in my analysis, for their genetic survival on the planet. Do you see? And that's what the system of racism, white supremacy is. So within that frame, the fields of psychology, the field of education, the field of psychiatry is within that frame. And so the frame is for whites, their survival. And so they're not going to analyze it so it falls apart. And so I say that's its limitations. But for black people and maybe other people of color, we have to have an analysis and understanding of racism, white supremacy for us to be able to function effectively.
Please don't come close to me. Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life. I'm sorry, I'm in the ramble, and there is a man, African American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
See, I was waiting on you to go there. Go ahead.
There is no such thing as white people and black people. There are only people who are different shades of brown. But as long as you use the words white and black, white, the definition of white is pure and unvarnished. Black is the color of savagery and ignorance. Now, as long as you use those two terms, we're going to be at one another's throats. If you'd ever get around to the point that you could look at me and see that I'm not white, my shirt's white, my hair is white, my skin is not. And I can look at CJ there and I can see that his hair is black and his skin is not. If we could get over the idea of several different races, maybe melanemic people, which is what we white folks ought to be called, could get used to realizing that we're all, the whole thing is so ridiculous.
Don't you, this is my spot. Don't you, this is my spot.
My spot!
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg.
You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Let's ask good old Wikipedia. You know, I really should donate some money to them the next time it asks me, because I use Wikipedia a lot. Hashtag I love Wiki. Hashtag Wikipedia. Hashtag free the Wiki guy, Julian Assange. Free Julie. Free Julie. Free Julie. Free Julie. White supremacy or white supremacism is the belief that white people are superior to those of other races and thus should dominate them. The belief favours the maintenance and defence of white power and privilege. White supremacy has roots in the now discredited doctrine of scientific racism and was a key justification for colonialism. It underlies a spectrum of contemporary movements, including neo-Confederates, neo-Nazism, and Christian identity. Boo! Christians, boo! You suck, man. Nah, just kidding. I've actually been to Hillsong a few times and the music there is freaking mad. They've got the best sound system.
Completely shocked last night to see that footage. And New South Wales Health was dealing with that last night, and I think I echo the frustration and anger that people right across the state felt. Now, I understand that Hillsong are ensuring that that doesn't occur again, but I was incredibly disappointed.
And everyone there really commented because they really liked how I spoke in tongue and they thought that my praise was amazing. And there was a few black people there too. Yeah. Different forms of white supremacy put forth different conceptions of who is considered white. Through the exemplar is generally light-skinned, blonde-haired and blue-eyed or Aryan traits, most common in Northern Europe. So basically, Becky bitches. Becky with the good hair. Okay, continue, please. Yes. The Aryan race is a historical race concept which emerged in the late 19th century to describe people of Indo-European heritage as a racial grouping. The theory had been widely rejected and disproved since there neither exists historical evidence nor archaeological evidence which supports the claims. The concept derives from the notion that the original speakers of the Indo-European languages and their descendants up to the present day constitute a distinctive race or subrace of the Caucasian race. So Aryan stands for, I just don't like it. You see, I'd rather go to the city of Caucasia, where the Caucasians reign supreme, the state of the whites, the nation of white power. See, I've had a kebab, but I just don't like it. You silly, insidious little bitches. And groups of white supremacists identify various racial and ethnic enemies, most commonly those of African ancestry, indigenous peoples of the Americas and Oceania, Asians, multiracial people, Middle Eastern people, and Jews. As a political ideology, it imposes and maintains social, political, historical, or institutional domination by white people. This ideology has been put into effect through socio-economic and legal structures, such as the Atlantic slave trade, Jim Crow laws in the United States, the White Australia policies from the 1890s to the mid-1970s, and apartheid in South Africa. Fun fact, did you know that Australia inspired the apartheid in South Africa? What? That's crazy, isn't it? I'll explain in the comments a little later below. Continue. In addition, this ideology is embodied in the white power social movement. Since the early 1980s, the white power movement has been committed to overthrowing the United States government and establishing a white homeland using paramilitary tactics. In academic usage, particularly in critical race theory or intersectionality, white supremacy can also refer to a social system in which white people enjoy structural advantages, privilege, over other ethnic groups on both a collective and individual level, despite formal legal equality. Okay, guys, that was really heavy. I did not know all of those specificities about white supremacy. Okay, Wiki, go get them. But that was too heavy, and I'm going to have a sip of some wine. Please press play. Please press it.
Black power, white powder, white powder, black power, white powder, white powder, black power, white powder, white powder. I've been whipping in this for some hours, I got money.
Okay, cut the music. Culture vultures. Here's a thought. Has colonialism's byproduct of violence and chaos accidentally united the world? Let me break it down. Because of the white man's efforts to conquer the world, assimilate the world, economically dominate the world, enslave the world, basically white supremacy the world, what I feel they have also unwittingly accomplished is to unite the world with one dominant, not so great language, English, popularizing the culture, music, and mannerisms of the black and brown people once enslaved. Still enslaved in different ways, but we'll talk about that in another episode, maybe. They have also made being healthy, spiritually, mentally, and physically, the creme de la creme of like reaching for the stars, like being rich makes you healthy because you can afford it. And the cherry on top is they spread the very savages they hate all over the world, yes, by boat, in really, really shitty accommodation. I hate that fucking boat sketch. Anyway. But in the process, created a stronger immune system that they would pass on to their future generations. And now, after all that effort, white people are now the minority. That's just a fact, my white Nancy boys. But also, boys, we're probably closer to unity now more than ever, like physically and by proximity. Now I would like to share a quote with you from Savala Nolan from her book, Don't Let It Get You Down. Blackness is the opposite of cultural vacuity. Is it ironic that thinking we were inferior, whiteness banished us to the outskirts only to see us create culture that is arguably more ripe, rich and dynamic, and borrowed than any other on earth. Our contribution to humanity are enough to swell us with pride, and they should do, and they do. My Nancy boys, please enjoy this performance of Ya Racist by Queen G in collaboration with Candy Royale. May she rest in ever-loving greatness. May she rest in ever-loving peace. Enjoy, my Nancy boys.
Yes, Queen G, Candy Royale, and we're gonna do it right on your mind. This one's going out to all you people saying racist. I'ma break it down and tell you straight to your faces. This one's going out to all you people saying racist. I'ma break it down and tell you straight to your faces. You're racist. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back. People of color are resisting. People of color are resisting. People of color are resisting. Telling me that white extremism doesn't exist is like telling me peace can be found in double fists, double tricks, hidden in a system resting on the existence of slavery and oppression, while the message is that everybody's free. That's a straight up lie. Inequality is history. In prison you're responsible for everything, every dollar and cent you spend pretending you're down with the cause. This one's going out. Come on, I said I'ma break it down. This one's going out. I'ma break it down and tell you straight to your faces. You're racist. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back. You wanna be black till it's time to be black. Turning backs on the blacks, we're the first on the map. Hospitable to strangers in all types of dangers. Away in the manger. White Jesus is a savior, causing disorderly behavior. It sucks when you got to be amongst sober ass drunks. Fake the funk, put you on the forefront. Stutter jaws jump, now you're denying. Silence in the clarifying. No more fear. Fear is what got us here. Fear if we talk we won't be accepted. I'm done being disrespected. Yes, I said this one's going out to all you people saying racist. I'ma break it down. Tell you straight to your face. I said this one's going out to all you people saying racist. I'ma break it down. Tell you straight to your faces. You're racist. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back.
Racism is a system. Now I want to repeat
after me.
Racism
is a system. It's a system. Denying your privilege is just proving the point. The joint is being filled by cops arresting brown and black folk for your safety. Women getting raped, beaten, killed on the daily. Services shut down across towns, and this ground is being poisoned for the economy. The enemy isn't me, it's a system produced to induce superiority, while authority, the majority, trumpeting loudly. Check it, Brexit. Happened is the peasants haven't figured it's the rich fingers in their pies. The migrants trying to improve their lives. I'm not surprised the colonizers hark back to days of old. Must be cold to see. What's on my people? What's on my people of color? We are resisting. People of color are resisting. We are the generation woke and outspoken, not fixing the system broken. We're shifting the thinking, moving motions, provoking emotions. I'm currently in mourning. Black bodies being taken, black culture appropriating, deleting the faces that created your entertainment. It's insane when Caucasians saying hip hop ain't black or political. We're making noises, leave you uncomfortable. We're raising voices, too much heat, get off your seat. That video got a standing ovation. It's your mother talking, you can't handle it, change the station.
The gentleman's name was Neely Fuller Jr., and this man had started writing about racism in the mid-1950s when he was in the Korean War. Racism is a system. Now I want you to repeat after me. Racism is a system.
It's a system. I said this one's going out to all your peeps saying racist. I'ma break it down and tell you straight to your faces. This one's going out to all your peeps saying racist. I'ma break it down and tell you straight to your faces. You're racist. You're racist. You're racist. you're racist. If you're black, stay black. White, you're right. Yellow, you're mellow. Brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back.
Yes. So tired of hearing people talk about equality in this country. White extremism exists,
But guess what? People of color, we are resisting. People of color, we are resisting. People of color, we are resisting. So you better run. It's time for some action.
Yes.
Take to the streets. Get up off your seats. Feel the beat. We're bringing that heat. It's the Nancy Destin show, letting you know.
In all areas of people activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, for the ultimate purpose of maintaining the power equation of white power over a relative non-white powerlessness.
Yes, and if you didn't know, now you know.
We've made it, guys, to the end of another episode of the Nancy Dennis Show, my Nancy boys, yes. If you've made it to this episode, we're on like, I don't know, a few in. And I just want to give a shout out to the ones who've been with me since the beginning. I see you. To the ones who have just joined, welcome. I hope you're liking your stay. And to any of you who have left me, fuck you. Fuck you very much. Nah, I'm joking. You do you, boo. Honestly, like if I'm not your cup of tea, you're probably not my cup of tea either. Don't drink me, I won't drink you. Stay away from me. Okay, I love you guys. Like, share, and comment. Tell your friends. And I will see you next time on the Nancy Dennis Show. Press play on the music if you don't mind.
I got money.
I bought freedom.
I earn my shit right in the trap circle.
I know all the words.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, racist, rubbish,